Hello Gemini, and welcome to Sincere Tarot, where you get the raw honest truth. This is your mid-June tarot check-in, and your theme is the Princess of Wands. So creative spark, creative expression, being a free spirit, and just going with the flow. So let's see what else is in store for you this month. And before I lay out these cards, please subscribe, hit the notification bell. I would really appreciate that. So please, please, please subscribe. Okay, I'm done. Let's get your reading going. So I asked, what does Gemini need to know for mid-June? Holy moly. All right. So, you're coming up as the Knight of Cups, so I feel like there's someone that you're feeling certain emotion towards. Now, this could be, right? This could be, you know, someone that you want to be friends with or romantic with or a family member. It could also have something to do with an institution for some of you, right? But I feel like you're like, I feel emotional spark or an emotional connection with this person, so I want to move forward with it, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to think it through. Because this person or this situation is coming up as the Five of Swords, which is super shut down, the type of power tripping type person. It's not going to work out, like whatever it is. Okay, so there's someone that you're wanting to approach emotionally, probably to have an emotional connection, and I feel like in the end you're still going to try, because the outcome is the Queen of Cups, so it's still moving forward, but maybe being even a bit more determined in a sense. But yeah, and I feel like it's because, you know, this person brings you inspiration in the past or has brought inspiration, so I feel like they made you feel like a good person. They made you feel good, you know, and that's why you're making this decision now. But this person is not in a good place. I think you're definitely trying to feel them out, and because this person is so mentally trapped, you're really having to find balance, you know, because you've got temperance in between you, and I think you're coming from a place of love, but they're not. They are likely a lot more imbalanced. It's your energy is more going towards them, but it's not going to work out. There's going to be a big blowout in the future where I just don't really see, I mean, I'll pull some clarifying cards, but I just don't see a relationship happening in the near future at all. And I feel like you're just going to eventually kind of go off and do your own thing. Like, you might still kind of try, but I think there's at least a part of you that's going to go off and follow your inspiration in a different direction, okay? Yeah, this person is just super shut down. Okay, let's get some clarifying cards. Wow. Whew. Someone you used to love, still love. They lied to you in the past. Super deceitful. You want to be in a romantic partnership with them, but it could also be friendship. That's what you want, right? You do love this person, but they stress you out, you know? And when you're like moving forward with love and it's based off of stress, or it could be this idea, oh, I need to be with them because I won't want to be with anyone else. And it might be from a place of security, like we will split the rent or something like that. And like I said, like for most of you, it's going to be romantic, but for some of you, it could be friend or work, right? Things have gone toxic. They're just not in a good way right now. I mean, and then the Tower comes up. I think it's even something that happens in their life that's really just going to kick things off, that they're just not going to be in a place to have a relationship with you at all. And I feel like someone in the past was deceitful and had a big secret. And I feel like, you know, you are trying to get to that place of understanding them, but they're not of you. And are likely still more secrets, and you're just learning drip by drip. But they're not in a good way emotionally. They're mentally shut down. They're toxic energy. Okay, and I'm not saying they're a bad person, by the way. People go through ups and downs in life, and this person is not in a good way emotionally or mentally. Things are going to get worse for them in the future, and just because they're not necessarily a bad person doesn't mean that you should be pursuing a relationship with them in the way that you're wanting at this present moment, okay? They're not in a place for that at all. It's going to take a while, likely, for things to blow over. But yeah, I mean, I think you'll always, you know, what is that called? Hold a torch for them, at least for a while. But I think you will kind of eventually go off and do your own thing, because it's like, you know, how much energy can you put into a relationship with someone when they don't really necessarily want that with you? Or at least not at the time, not right now at all. I don't see it at all right now. Yeah, and there's some sort of secret or lie in the past. So I feel like you did, follow your inspiration, right? But that doesn't mean that you need to continue for very long. Okay, I'm gonna pull some advice cards and then we'll do destiny cards, so definitely stick around until the end. So let's get some advice cards. Wow. Okay, so 6 of Swords. So in this deck as an advice card, it's like, look, going off and doing your own thing, maybe it's moving out of your parents' house, maybe it's moving out of your boyfriend or girlfriend's house or something like that. You might, is the reason that you're not kind of creating a new situation for yourself, is it because you're scared of being, out there on your own? I feel like, but it can be scary having a big change of scenery and going somewhere else and trying something new, but it creates a lot more potential in the future for you to achieve a lot more and to have a lot more satisfaction in life. But I mean, I would just do your best to go with the flow. Things may not have worked out the way that you mentally thought that they would, but they're working out the way that they are. Do your best to go with the flow and just do your best to trust that the universe is taking you in the direction of something better. We also have the 6 of Cups as an advice card. So I feel like whatever type of pattern, emotional pattern that's going on is something that goes all the way back to your childhood. So you really need to think all the way back, not just to when you were in school or when you were a little kid, all the way back to the most important relationships you had with the primary caregivers in your life, because I feel like there's some sort of pattern playing out here. For example, this person is shut down to you mentally and emotionally, and I feel like you're making all the effort. So it could, maybe you had a parent that was really shut down and you had to make an effort to be, the good kid, the person that deserved love, and maybe if you tried hard enough, they would eventually change, and then it would prove your worth and your value. But so that's just an example, right? But you really need to think about how this pattern's playing out. Third advice card, 3 of Pentacles. I would definitely ask people that you trust that are close to you about their perspective on the situation, because we all have blind spots. So you might think you know everything, but there are going to be things. Everyone has blind spots, so I would get different perspectives, and you might even want to go to group counseling or get a therapist or something like that, or just talk to people who you feel like, they've got a clear, that they would be good at this type of advice, that they're practical, sensible, and down to earth. Final advice card, we've got the 8 of Cups. So you really need to think about, what is going to be an emotionally fulfilling path for you in the future, because you have had your disappointments. I know you don't want to go down that path anymore. So you need to line yourself up for a future that is going to be emotionally fulfilling, because, the situation that you're in right now, it's not that. And I know you don't want to go through this again. So you really need to just trust in the direction that you're going, look at the pattern, get different perspectives, and then line yourself up for a more emotionally fulfilling future, because I know that's what you want. All right, pick a number, 1, 2, or 3. You're going to pick your own destiny cards, but definitely please do comment. I'm very curious about who this person is, and tell me about it if you don't mind. All right, 1, 2, or 3, always follow your intuition. All right, if you picked 1. Well, if you picked 1, we've got the Hermit on the surface, the 3 of Discs again, and the King of Swords. So I feel like you're feeling very alone right now. You've done a lot of soul searching. You've learned about yourself. You either have, or you really should get those different perspectives from other people. Maybe learn how the mind works, relationships, how relationships work. You might even want to read up on things that relationship counselors have to say. Your advice card is the King of Swords. You might want to get a male counselor, or you might want to listen to speakers who really speak to you and from a more logical perspective, because I feel like, yes, you've had your emotional disappointment and everything. I think you need to think more with your head right now, rational, logical. See if you can even detach from yourself a little bit and kind of look at the situation you're in, and what kind of advice would you give a friend that was in the exact same situation as you, yeah. And just, have that warrior spirit. If you pick 2, on the surface, we've got the 8 of Swords. Beneath the surface, the 9 of Cups, happiness, and Ace of Cups is your advice card. So I feel like you have where you are, the present situation where you are right now, and definitely mentally, is not where you imagined yourself to be. You did not expect yourself to get into this situation. However, being stuck in this situation that is so frustrating for you, and I know you're not expressing your thoughts and your feelings, and well, mostly your thoughts and your words. You might think that you're keeping it all inside, but the body language, the facial expressions, everything, it's just, people can check your vibe and they know that you're not in a good way. You're like mentally shut down, being very stubborn. But it's allowing within you this big wish, this wish. I think you're just getting so stressed out at your own head, your own thoughts, that it's kind of creating this desire within you to have a new start. And guess what? You can have a new start. Just think about what it is that you actually want that would be emotionally fulfilling, and go on that path. Go on that path, tap into that self-love, and, ask your heart, what would someone who loves themselves do? And then whatever the answer is, go for it, because you have a new opportunity. Things may not have worked out the way that you foresaw them, but that, I think, was more in your head. You had a mental idea of how things would look, okay? But now you need to ask your heart. And I think your heart will guide you in the right direction, at least for now. If you pick 3. Cool. If you pick 3, we've got the Ace of Pentacles, the Princess of Discs, and the High Priestess. So I feel like you've manifested a new situation for yourself. You might be a good manifester. We've got the Princess of Discs, so she's also good at, taking ideas and actually turning them into reality, because so many people on this planet can talk a good game and end up not really accomplishing anything in their lives except for knowing how to talk a good game. But I feel like that's not the case with you. And your advice is, okay, it's good to be practical, it's good to be realistic, it's good to talk in terms of things that are tangible and real, especially if it comes to things like work and making money. But the High Priestess is saying to also reflect on maybe some secrets that were kept in the past, and also make sure that your intuition is open to help guide you, right? So you might know how to create the life that you physically want, but you also need to be open to intuition and being connected with your higher self. So that could be listening to your dreams, keeping a dream journal. That could be paying attention to synchronicities, keeping a synchronicity journal or diary. And it could be meditating to clear your mind, or even just going out for a run, whatever puts you in a meditative, open state where you can receive information and nudges from the universe. Excuse me. Yeah, so I would do that. If you'd like a private reading, send me an email or check out my website. That's all in the description box below. Definitely subscribe, because I do monthly, mid-monthly videos. You can follow me on social media. And if you're still here, you get a secret bonus card. King of Wands. So you can accomplish what you want based on inspiration. And you might want to also express yourself on social media as well. But definitely, this was your theme, the Princess of Wands. So it's not just acting on that inspiration, but taking it to the full level. Have a great month. Bye.